Keep yourself in the loop of everything football. Listen to Alex and Jeremiah on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Hello there, I'm Jeremiah.
I am Alex, always and forever here.
Dedicated to college and NFL football. The latest football news on and off the field. NFL draft trade rumors. We've got you covered from the NFL, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, and everything else in between. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Thank you for tuning into the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, where we talk the latest news, rumors, and games of the NFL and college football from the latest science traditions, breakout stars, and all the news in between. As always, I'm Jeremiah. I almost said Alex.
You almost went and said the thing. You almost said it.
I almost said it because I said it at the end of the last episode.
Yeah,
I'm Jeremiah.
Trying to be me. Hey man, I'm actually Alex. So
yeah.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, dude?
Oh, not too much. How you doing?
Doing good. The last episode of the week.
You excited about this? These topics? You excited about this one?
Yeah, we would talk about topics. We only have one topic.
Well, let me see. You excited about this day? I mean, like this topic of the day.
Oh, okay, yeah. I am excited. I love doing these conference previews because the last one went so well. Yeah.
The last one was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Yeah,
I enjoyed it. So we today we are doing the Big 12. We did the Pac-12 last week.
No, we did it on Monday.
Well, Monday, last the last show, the first show of the week.
Oh, okay.
It'd be pretty cool. What do you think? You like it?
Do I like the conference?
Yeah. What do you think of the Big 12?
It's kind of how do I describe it? Let's just say that it's hard for these teams to make the playoffs, even though Oklahoma did make it last year.
It's a very top heavy.
It's top heavy. It's even though they have a conference game coming up. I think it's in 2017 season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starting then.
So starting then. Which is I think the top 5 teams are kind of like. I think we kind of have our different. You said you have a different top 5 than I have a different top 5.
Yeah, my top 5 is a little different.
Yeah, a little different. I think we have the same teams. I just think we have them in different order. If that's true or not. Yeah. What do you think of the?
Yes.
What do you think of the Big 12?
The Big 12, like we said, it's a top heavy conference. Used to be good when Texas was really good.
Yeah.
Texas, Oklahoma State were 3 solid teams. Used to be good, but it's taken a step back. It has.
Yeah, because basically it's only like 3 teams now. I'm not counting Baylor because I think they're going to take a step back.
And we'll get into that with the predictions.
We will. We will get into it.
You know what I'm saying?
So, hey, you want to tell the good people how we're going to structure this preview? Because it's going to be a lot different than the Pac-12 since these two since this conference doesn't really have a division.
Yeah, or separate divisions.
Separate divisions.
Yeah, pretty much what we're going to do is really just kind of chronicle our top 5 because the Big 12 was a tricky.
It was tricky, but it was also easy at the same time.
Yeah, well, for those of you who aren't memorized on the schools, it's Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Texas Tech, and West Virginia. So
yes, it's only 10 teams in a conference.
10 teams in the Big 12.
Yes, and then it's funny enough that the Big 10 actually has 12 teams. But wow, this was really confusing.
Backwards. It's backwards. But we're going to talk about pretty much our top 5 for these for these teams, like the top 5 through the
5 to 1,
the 5 to 1. How we see them lining up because. Last year, we did top 5 because last year you had 3 teams, Oklahoma, TCU, Oklahoma State, all heavy in the the runnings for rankings. And Baylor had a pretty good year last year too. West Virginia wasn't bad. Then Texas Tech through Kansas kind of drops off. You had West Virginia, Texas Tech, and Texas all with 4 and 5 records. Kansas State, Iowa State, and Kansas collectively only won 5 games. So we're going to stick mainly to the top 5 teams personally. And we're going to get into it, and it's going to be awesome. So, would you like to start? Because I started last time.
Yes. Okay. Are we going 5 to 1 or 1 through 5?
I did 1 through 5, like from who I think is going to finish best to who I think is going to finish best.
I'm going to do 1 through 5 because that's how I have it on the paper.
All right.
All right. Well, Starting at number 1, Oklahoma. I think they're going to repeat as the Big 12. Oh my gosh!
See, 12. You can
see, I almost got. They're going to finish as the Big 12 champions.
It's Oklahoma, right?
Oklahoma, yeah.
Okay.
They got 12 stars returning, including Baker Mayfield, who is a Heisman candidate heading into this year. They got Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon, probably the nation's best running back duo.
Oh, yeah, I have that written down. Let me help you out. Yeah, it's Samaje Perine, I think.
Perine?
Yeah,
that's what I said. Perine or Per?
I was mainly thinking on Samaje, excuse me, and yeah, Joe Mixon, yeah.
Yeah, Joe Mixon, and then, what receiver is going to emerge as the top target for starting Shepard?
Yeah,
Sterling Shepard.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
They don't really have a. There's not really a proven. There's not really proven receivers much on the.
They have a very good, solid group, though. I think.
Not proven, though, is what
they're not proven, but
that's the main thing.
Yeah, they got Dede Westbrook, Mark Andrews, and Penn State graduate and transfer Geno Lewis. So it'd be interesting to see which of those guys emerge as the top target heading into this year, because this offense is still going to be explosive with Mayfield under center, or whatever offense they play. I don't know.
I don't know what kind of offense they play.
Yeah, but the defense did lose some pieces, but defensive end Charles Walker, linebacker Jordan Evans, and cornerback Jordan Thomas. Probably 3 of the Big 12's top returning defenders.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into it as much because Oklahoma is also my number 1 team. Yeah. So I'm not going to get into this as much on mine. But they did lose 4 first-team All-Big 12 selections to the draft, but they do boast 4 second-team All-Big 12 talent to help maybe bridge the production there.
Yeah, and moving on, number 2, TCU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so ours differ here, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, do you? Okay, yeah. So I have TCU finishing second, actually. They finished third last year.
They finished tied for second last year.
Well,
technically third.
Technically third.
Yeah, finished tied for second.
They got new quarterback and Texas A&M transfer Kenny Hill, who's expected to compete for the job, possibly win the job. They have a deep set of skill players, in place right now. The defense returns only 4 starters, but they do have some key players returning from season-ending injury last year. So I think they're going to have a little bit of a bounce-back year, finish higher than they did last year.
Okay.
Yeah. And then number 3, I got Oklahoma State.
Okay, my number 3 is different as well.
Okay. They finished tied for second with TCU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The offense still has, quarterback Mason Rudolph and a deep group of receivers as well, including James Washington, who's probably the top big play threat there. Defense does lose Emmanuel Ogbah, to the draft.
I got that written down on my
email. They did. They did lose big production right there, but they returned 7 starters on that side of the ball. And moving on to my number 14, Baylor, who also finished 4th in 2015. Mm-hmm. They did have 10 wins last year, but I feel like they're going to have a little bit of a drop-off in wins. But I also think my number 5 team is going to have a little bit of a drop-off also. That's why they're still number 4, Baylor. The outlook of this team has just shifted dramatically since late May. We talked about it on 3 different episodes. That's why I'm not going to get too much into it. Mm-hmm. They do have 9 stars returning and are currently in rebuilding mode. Offense still has quarterback Seth Russell, receiver Katie Cannon, but the defense is probably the main concern for a team that's really has kind of low expectations from the nation right now. So I do see them finishing 4th, maybe with possibly 8 or 9 wins. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit of a step back because 9 wins is a step back from 10 when you're in college football. So
this is true.
Yeah.
This is,
it is true.
9 wins is a step back from 8 wins, in a sense, I guess.
And my number 5 team, West Virginia. Yeah, they actually finished 5th also last year.
Yeah, my 3, 4, and 5. Actually, I think my 2, 3, 4, 5 are all different.
Oh, okay. Wow, this is going to be fun.
I think. Who's your number 2 again?
I had TCU.
Yeah, my 2. We only share 1 and 1. That's it.
Wow. Okay. This is fun. All right. Opposition. All right.
Weirdo.
Okay, well, yeah, this is West Virginia. This is a make or break year for Coach Dana Horgen. If I said
Wow.
What?
What for West Virginia? Do you want some help?
Yeah, Horgensen. That's what I say, right? Horgensen?
Is that what you said?
That's what I said.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'll help you real quick.
Okay, help me out.
It's a weird name. Yeah, Dana Holgorsen.
Horgensen, yeah.
Holgorsen.
Holgorsen. Yes, I said Horgensen.
I don't know what you say. All right, well, either way, it's a big year for him, right?
Yeah. You're like, wow. Wow. That's quite a name. But yeah, this is a make or break year for him. And after going 29 and 23 overall since 2011, becoming the head coach there, we have a new look secondary. But if Skylar Howard could pick up where he left off last season, offense could be among the conference best.
This is true.
So I want to talk about a little bit of the teams in 6 through 10.
Okay.
If you will let me.
Yeah, sure, okay. Man.
I want to talk about Texas and Texas Tech. Actually, I'm not gonna get too much into Kansas State, Iowa, and Kansas. I feel like I don't really have to go any further unless we need to.
I mean, that's up to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll talk about Texas right now. They did finish 6th in the conference last year, and I got them finishing 6th again.
Okay.
To me, they're the most mysterious team in this conference. Charlie Strong is on the hot seat right now. Mm-hmm. Going 11-14 record in 2 seasons. So Strong needs a good season to show the program is heading in the right direction. So I think they can possibly become a breakout team this year because we don't know what Texas can do. They can have a really good year. They can have a really bad year.
You never know.
We never know with this team. So
yeah, you never know.
They can easily probably become 3rd in the conference by the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Texas Tech, I have them finishing at 7. They're also kind of a team to look out for also. They're coming off a season that saw the Red Raiders set a program record for most points scored. They do have quarterback Patrick Mahomes returning. Texas Tech, they just need to find ways to replace production from Hakeem Grant, DeAndre Washington, running back, and left tackle LaRaven Clark. So, yeah, they need to find a way to replace those guys. And the defense just needs to make major strides to succeed, and they can also be a breakout team. So, yeah.
It's a very interesting list you got there.
I do. And then, of course, 8, 9, and 10, I got K-State, Iowa State, and Kansas. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're going to take our first break. That was wonderful, Jeremiah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, this was fun. I can't wait to hear your list since it's so different.
Well, I
want to hear your reasons why it's so different.
It's just different. So, we're going to take a quick break here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. We'll get back and we'll hit my list, and then we'll get out of your guys' hair for the rest of the week.
Oh, yes. My Lord. Oh, my Lordy.
Oh, my Lordy. Okay, so we're going to do that real quick for you guys. We'll be right back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast with a T.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, and we're back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. So I'm going to get into my list a bit. I'm really just going to do the top 5. We're running short on time. We have our next host coming in to do his next show, so we're going to go ahead and just get to it, So my top 5 consist of Oklahoma at number 1, like we said. I do have Oklahoma sitting at number 1. They finished last year at 11-2 overall, 8-1 the conference. Pretty much the overall favorite to repeat and win again. in my opinion. They finished the year number 4, technically number 5 at the end of the playoff rankings because they did get into the college football playoffs where they ended up losing to Clemson pretty handedly in the Orange Bowl. They're 37-17. Eventual runner-up, yeah. Baker Mayfield returning, the running back duo you and I talked about, the defense losing 4 of its starters and first team all Big 12, but they did keep 4 second team all Big 12 players to kind of help that. So they are my number 1. My number 2 is also the second finisher in the Pac-12 in the Big 12 last year, and that would be Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State finished last year 10-3 with a pretty good year and 7-2 inside the conference. Pretty solid year if you ask me. They did lose to Oklahoma, and I forget one other team. I forget who it was, but I can't recall right now. But they did play a pretty good season last year. They finished tied for second place in the division with TCU. They ended the season ranked number 20 and earned an invite to play in the Sugar Bowl versus Ole Miss, but they did lose that pretty badly. About 40. It was 48-20. Yeah, lost their last 3 games that year because they had a pretty easy schedule. They lost their last 3, but they did play number 10 Baylor and number 4 Oklahoma. So those are the teams they lost to, both of their conference losses there. So I didn't forget. I had it written down right there.
Yeah, there you go. Good for you. I'm glad you had it written down.
Yeah, but they started the year. at 10-0, and they lost those last 2 games. But they did have a pretty good upset of TCU, 42 or 44, 49-29. A pretty big win against TCU, really who was at the time ranked 5.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. They have a lack of running game on the offensive side of the ball right now, honestly, but they have all 5 of their offensive linemen returning. But even then, they were an offensive line group that struggled last year. Their bright spot on offense is Mason Rudolph returning after having a good year despite a lot of injuries. And then, they're going to have to look for somebody to replace Emmanuel Ogbah, who practically was a first-round pick. He was 32nd overall because there wasn't a 32nd pick, to the Browns' first pick of the second round. I have them going 9-4. Honestly, I'm sorry. I also didn't mention Oklahoma. I have Oklahoma pretty much having the same record. I have Oklahoma probably going to go for 11-2 again. It's just they're so good in that conference, and I have Oklahoma State finishing about 9-4. Now, my number 3 is TCU, who finished last year.
So we flip up 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have TCU, who did finish the season ranked number 7 last year. They were 11-2 overall and 7-2 in the conference. Again, they did tie for second place there with Oklahoma State. They ended the year with an Alamo Bowl victory over number 15 Oregon. A pretty good game, if you recall, 47-41 in triple overtime.
Yeah, that was quite a game.
Mm-hmm. I see them taking a little bit of a step back right now. Personally, losing Trevon Boykin, like you said, Kenny Hill coming over. Foster Sawyer is also a guy that might be in the mix to play some quarterback. One interesting stat for them is they have won 23 of 26 games since switching to the air raid offense. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive.
It adds a wrinkle to your game. The air raid offense is made to move the ball. Teams that run it usually run it pretty well for the most part. So. It'd be interesting to see how they do it. I do have them finishing 3rd, so pretty much the same 1 through 3 as the season end last year. These teams didn't have much turnover, in my opinion. I think keeping a good core of players is really what's going to help them out. Now, number 4, I have West Virginia, as a matter of fact.
Do you?
I'm sorry, TCU. I could see going. I have about 10-3, maybe 9-4. So. I do have West Virginia sitting at number 4. Yes, they were 8-5 overall, but they were only 4-5 in conference. They do have to play much stronger competition in their conference. They lost, like I said, 5 games in their conference to the top 3 teams I have there and more. One upside for them is they do have a strong offense returning, led by their quarterback Skyler Howard, and 4 out of 5 of their last season starting offensive linemen. And they do boast All-American running back Russell Shell.
Russell Shell. I love that name for a running back.
Shell.
Shell
Shock. Yeah.
Shell Shock.
Mm-hmm. The tricky thing with them, though, is their defense is their biggest question mark.
Yeah, definitely. There's major concern for that side of the ball there.
If their defense can help them win games, that's why I have them up here, is if their defense can turn around this year, I think they can be a team that can really stick around that top 5.
It seems like the Big 12...
doesn't have a lot of defense.
It's like that conference doesn't play defense.
Yeah, it's all about offense out there.
Yeah.
Now, my number 5 team is going to be Baylor. I didn't write much down on Baylor because we've talked about Baylor so much this offseason so far already. But I do have them listed at number 5 because purely there's just been so much turnover with this team, regardless of the fact if
players, recruits,
regardless of the fact that they step in and just do well, there's still going to be a drop off here, in my opinion. I don't see them really contending for a very high top 5 spot purely based off the fact that there's just so much turnover on the program. I see them really having an off year and
where
maybe
do you see them finishing
building. Wins wise,
overall conference.
See, it's tricky. I could see them winning 7 games, 8 games, maybe.
I see them at 9 or 8.
Well, see, that's tricky. Yeah. It's tricky because I have West Virginia at about 9-4.
Yeah.
So I can't have them any higher than that.
So we only have one. So we only have 2 teams with more than 10 wins.
TCU, I do have them finishing maybe 10-3, maybe 9-4.
Okay.
So that would be 2 teams in double digits. Them in Oklahoma. We'll see. TCU's on the cusp of a 10-3, 9-4 kind of deal, in my opinion. And then I do have them below. Oklahoma State with 9-4. So I do kind of have them maybe getting 10. It really depends. But Baylor, I'd say 7, maybe 8 wins. It's like I said, it's tough competition in the division from the get-go. So
especially in a conference that doesn't even have a conference game yet.
Exactly. So. And they were playing so well, a couple of years ago, the first year of the college football playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see if they can even really contend for, any kind of notoriety in the Big 12, let alone rankings and playoffs and scenarios like that. It's going to be, interesting to see how long that's going to take them.
Yeah,
to say the least.
I like it. Okay.
Thanks, man.
All right.
So we're going to take one last quick break because we always got to get those 2 commercials in. And we'll come back and say thank you guys for listening and tell you who we want to preview for our next conference preview, and we will get out of your hair. So, as always, we'll be right back at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. Don't go anywhere.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
All right, we're back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. So Jeremiah decided, with my help, that we're going to do the Big Ten next.
Yes.
We're going to preview the Big Ten on our next preview episode. It's not going to be the next episode, maybe not the one after that.
It would be next week.
Yeah, we'll do
sometime.
One of the 4 shows next week. So we are going to preview the Big Ten. You excited?
Yes, you almost said 12, even though we just did.
I have to think about it. Yeah,
I know. It's so tricky.
Yeah, you excited?
Yeah, well, I am excited. And then also, possibly later, we might do an independence.
Yeah, because you can't ignore.
Even though they're not a conference, you can't ignore.
You can't ignore Notre Dame.
Yeah, you really can't.
Or I guess BYU now that we've talked about them a couple times.
Yeah, exactly. So and last but not least, we're going to leave you with the SEC. It should come soon later this month, so be on the lookout for that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, SEC's going to be our last one because they're the big dog.
Yeah, the head honcho, kind of.
Head honcho.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to all of our shows this weekend. We did get you the 4 still.
Yeah.
They're just coming a little slower this time because we had our.
Don't worry, we'll be back to our regular schedule
next week. Yeah.
Starting Monday. So Monday through Thursday. So we gave you guys a treat this weekend for Friday.
Boom.
Yeah. All right. So since this is our last show,
we can wait for it.
What?
Cause we got to do our. We got to.
No, I'm not going to say.
So you got to wait.
I'm not going to say it. I was going to ask, what are your plans for the weekend?
I'm going to Sacramento has the minor league team, the Sacramento River Cats, the Giants AAA affiliate. I am going to they have a Star Wars night on Saturday. So.
Who are they playing against?
I actually haven't looked. I've seen, but I haven't. It hasn't stuck in my mind. I forget.
So you're gonna go,
I only know like 4 or 5 teams in AAA, honestly.
Yeah, me too. I think I only know 2 actually. Sacramento River Cats and the Fresno Grizzlies.
I know them, and I know the Isotopes, and I know
the Isotopes. Yes, the Las Vegas 51s.
And the 51s. 51s. Those are like the 4 I know.
Okay, well, it sounds pretty fun. I'm actually going to a concert on Saturday.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going to see G-Eazy and Logic. Yeah, they're gonna perform up in Woodland, which is about half hour from Sacramento, roughly. Yeah. Who are my little brother? He's coming up here, so it should be fun.
How old is he?
He is 20.
That's cool, man. All right, well, that's exciting.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys about it on Monday. See if how it went.
All right.
Yeah.
So, as always, you can find us on Twitter at the Golden State Media Concepts or GSMC. _football podcast. You can find us on Instagram at the same handle. You can find us on YouTube if you search Golden State Media Concepts. I'm sure you can find all of our GSMC podcasts. You can find all of our network shows on our website, gsmcpodcast.com, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. You can find us on all of those, and Facebook at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. We'd like to thank you guys for listening. As always, I am Alex.
And I'm Jeremiah.
And hey, Jeremiah.
What? Catch you on the flippity flip.
Catch you guys on the flippity flip. All right, we'll see you next week.